Hello, Ridgeway community. This is your principal, Mrs. Brindley, and I wanted to just take a couple minutes to talk to you all about our annual performance report and climate survey for Ridgeway. You may recall I did a video like this last year, may have the year before as well. I'm going to try to keep it a little more concise because I know it's a busy time of year and no one has 20 minutes to watch a video. So I'm going to keep it to very important things, keep it concise, and give us some celebrations because we have a lot to celebrate here. So here we go. Our annual performance report is something we get every year as a district, and then each school also gets one. So there's a number of points in different areas you can earn, and you get a percentage of those points, which is your overall APR. So as you can see reflected here, Ridgeway earned 100% of our points this year on our annual performance report. You can see our results for the last 3 years. We are stair-stepping right up. Went from 82.3 in 2022-23. We were at 90.6% of our points last year, and this is based on map results and performance of last school year. So last school year, we earned 100% of our points in 24-25. So that's a huge celebration. We were the only school in our entire district to earn 100% of our points. A little plug for our district too, we increased our district APR by over 2% this year. So that's incredible. This is figured based on a lot of different areas. So attendance and student academic performance, as well as student growth. There's some compliance things, some assessment completion that all go together to create our APR. So a big portion of that is our student performance and their growth that they make academically. So on the right here, you can see our MAP results for ELA and math over the last 3 years. Math has continued to step up. We are making great progress with that. A big reason our APR jumped from 90.6 to 100 is because of our performance and growth in math. We did not receive all of our points for math in 23-24. We only received 75% of our points for math performance and growth, and we received 100% of our points this year. So our increase in math performance, and then each year you are also given points based on the growth that students make, and that is always like a moving target. It's a little bit hard to predict because it's based on how everyone else in the state of Missouri performs as well. So if we have grown our kids at a higher rate than the average of the state, then we're going to get more points for growth. Whereas if we're right on target with what the state is, we may not get 100% of our points. So it depends on how everybody else performs, which is not something we can always predict. So celebrations for sure. You may notice ELA over the years, we really hang in like the 60 to 65% range, even 5-6 years of data. So we made some changes this year to our ELA instruction that we're really excited about and we think is going to make a huge difference for our kids. We are sharing kids during small group and intervention time, and we are providing very targeted instruction, and every single kid is receiving a small group reading lesson every single day. And that is a huge change because in the past, often kids might only get met with twice a week or 3 times a week. So to have a 20-minute guided reading lesson targeted to your exact ability needs and your skill needs is going to make a huge difference for our kids. So we're very excited to see how that data may change this year. Attendance is another piece of the APR. So our goal is always to have 90% of our students at school at least 90% of the time. We have stayed above 90% the last 3 years. You can see right now we are at 93.1. So our goal is to stay in that range. We would love to see our attendance, of course, stay above 90, but really we're shooting for more than 93, 94 range because we can do it. Something that's reflected on here is a student group, which is different demographics. Lunch at the bottom is free and reduced lunch. This is important because sometimes we may be doing really well overall, but a certain population of our students are not growing like they need to. And so as educators, we need to adjust, and all of our kids should be making their yearly growth goals. All of our kids can perform and learn. So something that I'm working on with our assessment and data department this year is digging a little bit more into our historical data in terms of our student group to see how all of our different populations are performing and if there's any changes we need to make accordingly. We have a building improvement plan every year, and our goals are directly related to our district improvement plan goals. So we have an attendance goal that I just spoke about. We are trying to stay above 90%. We do a lot of things to help encourage attendance. Our office team meets regularly to analyze attendance data, making sure we're reaching out to families of concern who are struggling with attendance, really trying to partner with families to figure out what are the barriers and how can we get kids to school. A big part of attendance, our responsibility with attendance, is creating a really inviting atmosphere where kids feel welcome, they feel valued, and they want to be at school. It is I feel very strongly that attendance at this age is very parent driven. So I am not an advocate of incentives or certainly punitive measures for attendance. I really think as adults at school, we need to create the environment that's conducive for kids wanting to be at school, and then working directly with parents to partner to figure out a plan when we're struggling to meet those numbers. Another one of our goals is discipline. Typically, the district wants schools to decrease their number of out of school suspensions by 5% each year. We have always had a very low number of out of school suspensions, so that goal looks a little different for us. But we really try to utilize other avenues because out of school suspension is necessary sometimes, but it is not typically the best in terms of changing behavior. So we really try to utilize our problem solving team to get good plans in place collaboratively with all of the adults that work with the student. As leaders in the building, Mrs. Graves and I try to be really present in classrooms, giving really great feedback, and again, teaming with families to create solid plans because we know kids are most successful when there's a strong partnership between school and home. And a final one is always an achievement goal. So our district goal is to increase our proficiency in math and reading on MAP by 3% every year. And so each school has a goal to increase their proficiency by 3% every year. So you can see our goal is to be up to 62.8% proficiency in ELA and 61.9% in math. And so again, we work all year. We don't teach to the test. The MAP test is just a result of all of the work we've done all year. So we try really hard to really utilize quality assessments to guide our instruction, to show us what kids have mastered and what they still need. We meet in professional learning communities weekly as a unit with administration and our instructional mentor to look at data, to work on planning, to do professional development, to have that collaboration time. And we have an instructional aide assigned to each unit who have been very instrumental in supporting instruction in the classroom, but also working with small groups of students. And our media specialist, Mr. Villasana, has put a huge focus on positive reading culture school-wide, which is already making a huge difference. We have a lot of conversation about reading at our school this year, which is fantastic. These are our culture and climate survey results. So this is, let me see, my thing is blocking the top. This is staff. Okay, I wanted to make sure I was saying that correctly because there's a slide for parents, staff, and students. So staff climate survey results. The big thing I want to say about these survey results is they are important to me and to us as a school because how people are perceiving and feeling about our culture and climate is very important, and things that, like, everything at our school is impacted by our climate and culture. So what we will do with this information is my building leadership team that has a representative from different teams in the building will look at this data to dig in to try to find out, like, what are the areas that we could potentially do better and what are areas that are going really well where we just need to continue the good work. So we will analyze this data as we do each year to try to guide us in our planning. Our parent survey, same thing, a lot similar types of questions. Most of our scores are very positive. But one thing that stood out to me is sharing of the culture and climate survey. Now, this asks specifically about the district, but I want to do a better job of communicating for us specifically. And again, this is something that I would love to, if you ever have feedback around these things where you feel like you have information that may be helpful, I'm always open to conversations. I also noticed that discipline policies are fair to all students. 77% said yes. I would love to dig a little bit more into that because I think that we can make assumptions about what that means, but I'd love to hear from parents. This may be something I bring up at a PTSA meeting to get a little bit more feedback about that. And our students in fourth grade take a climate survey each year. So this is only fourth graders, but it likely is a good representation about how students across the building are feeling. So things that stood out to me here are most of the time my schoolwork is interesting. Only 42% of our fourth graders said yes. That's a problem. School, it can't always be fun. But we can make it as engaging and high quality as possible to make it more interesting to kids. So also having your concern taken seriously by a teacher, I would love to see that percentage be higher. That students are encouraged to do their best every day, 69%. I think that's an area of growth. This year, we have a group called RISE, Ridgeway Inspires Student Excellence. It is fourth and fifth graders with a couple of third graders, really serving as almost a student advisory to help make decisions about our school and be leadership among the student community. So I will be presenting this information to RISE and we will be coming up with questions of information they want to gather from their peers so that we can talk more about this and figure out how can we make this better for students at Ridgeway. Okay, maybe this is my last slide. I think it is. Okay, so we have reached the end of this APR presentation. If you have any questions about what I've said here, feel free to reach out to me, shoot me an email. I'm always happy to talk more about this. We do so many amazing things at Ridgeway. I could really go on for hours about the things that happen here, but I'm always willing to share more. So if you ever have questions or concerns, please reach out to me. I am always here to connect. I hope you all have an incredible break and enjoy the extra time with your families. Bye.